dafa baax na ki dafa ñaan ki dafa rafet wan ma ci ki bonjul ki dafa bonjul wan ña ndeke saa way ki dafa bonjul wan ma ci ki bonjul ki dafa bonjul daf leen rafet yow wen tamit ndax nga màgget daf leen rafet yow wen tamit ndax nga rafet daf leen rafet yow wen tamit ndax nga rafet. Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of that what you got. Be proud.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc. Iman Blak, kipindi chaitwa METAMORPHOSIS. Jifundishe, elimika na muelimika.
Whoa. them fool you. Don't believe for a minute they don't like you. Why try to make I unhappy? Really, I don't know. If it was up to them, my friend, we would never see the sun or the snow. Through that mystical communication within, we keep on coming together. I love to see brothers and sisters looking out for one another. That's the way it should be, not contrary. Stop tearing down each other. Only Rasta free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe 1 minute that they are with you. Shall free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Our dogs won't do. You're just behaving like they want you to, yeah. I say arrogance is much different from ignorance, and I know you feel the same way too. Many live this life without having a clue. No reason why they are so sad and blue. Places to go, so much things to do. Not a moment to reflect on the cycle of life, yeah. To free the people over hills and valleys too.
It's away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. The good for the post by and say, humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother, while the other night, me loving Africa, love my nation, my interpretation, love universal. Loving Africa,
Nastlin, greetings, Eli. The atmosphere from radiating out of Kingston, St. Andrew, specifically out of the National Stadium. The atmosphere and the vibrations are penetrating the world because a serious event and a major event occurred over the last 2 days. An event that many have been waiting on. And the many have been so many that people don't realize that it's not Jamaica was really the many. The many really came from out of the globe. Because the construction of reggae music, coming from its foundation, the drumming, the African retentions, and the influence of Rastafari, maintains that this is the medium and this is the vehicle for transformation, and it is also the vehicle for the liberation of the consciousness. So here we have a man who has been incarcerated for a decade. When I say incarcerated now, there are those who will query the nature of the incarceration and the issues that are legalistic around the incarceration. But within the bigger plantation struggle, all black people are in incarceration. We're all incarcerated. Some to a greater degree than the others, because the plantation system still entails. But when the penal system captures you, it's a different type of incarceration. Because not only is your physical structure captured, but the brain has been localized and centralized and limited and captured. So it is within that dimension now the struggle for survival takes place, and the struggle to maintain consciousness. And a 10-year period in the belly of a white penal system is hell. Black man know that. It is hell on earth. So when a one go through that and come out, remember, a decade is not a little bit of time for an individual to be isolated from foundation and from community and from relations. Nelson Mandela was in there for 2.5 decades, going 3 decades. Black man been undergoing a whole heap of pressure, When you look across the globe historically, these penal systems set up in the Western world is there to crucify black people. And in this crucifixion now, whenever one and one resurrect themselves, you have to give that one whole heap of kudos. You have to give them ratings. Because to survive alone is skill. But to hold on to your philosophy, to hold on to your philosophy, and we're talking about Rastafari now, becomes a foundation in the mentality to survive. And so there is a great celebration by many who understand the bigger plantation struggle. There are those who are at the top who seem to have more critical, negative things to say about the case and the penal system and what was guilty and who must apologize to what and rah. But you see the people at the belly, this is the first time the National Stadium have been full beyond capacity. And there's no reggae boys. And it's no athletics. It's a culture manifesting through music and driven by Rastafari. Never ever being put to the front, It's always describing the thing without giving Rastafari the full credit. So, the Buju Banton concert is a milestone in the journey of black people and the journey within the industry of music and the journey of reggae, because out in the industry for the last 10 years, it has been lacking. It has been lacking a sort of presence. That we're not looking for any salvation or any savior. But the difference is that it may influence the youths who are on the up and coming. To see two brethren embrace each other on the stage in such intensity that the youth, they would call them kind of vibrations within film settings, B-man behavior. Because look how the man them hook up. But this is beyond where the thing has been. It's an attempt to reconstruct and resurrect the consciousness that is supposed to be within the industry. So it's a serious event. It has been recorded globally. The most people ever to attend any event at the National Stadium, and it will never happen again. People trying to compare this to visits by other great ones. But this is a groundswell. This is coming out of the belly of the people. And it is red, green, and gold flag that decorate the place right through and through. So there's no way you can avoid this presence. The presence of Rastafari, the presence of conscious, positive, transforming music. So it's not a matter anymore for move away now from the DB bad mind tune. And the tune will tell you about your dumpling and butter. And the tune will tell you about my thing bigger than your thing. The whole thing have to get itself together now, because the example is there. Now, people will criticize a man's private, personal life. But you see, if a man spend 10 years in prison, and that man have 10, 15, 17 children, and how many different mothers, there must be conflicts within that man return to the settings, because 10 years is a long time to be away from family and friends and loved ones. So all those who trying to create these negative images will soon fade away, because how many of us could spend even 1 year in a prison in America under white supremacy, domination, and ideology? So it's not about making a hero out of a man, but it's recognizing the stamina and the outpouring of people's emotions, black people, white people, yellow people, globally, because the music of Rastafari is a global sound. It has been used by all cultures. And perhaps the message is out now that we must reclaim it. We have to reclaim the culture and the music and recognize that it is central to the reconstruction of the Jamaican and the black man's psyche. It is our power. It is that those who are in governance don't seem to connect. Because an event like that, like this, should not be held at a football stadium. They should be somewhere in the island that to hold 50,000 people for entertainment. Different issue. Hail up the Donovan Jermaine, Penthouse, and all those who are responsible for that event. Some minor hitches with the transportation system and the shuttle system. 2, 3, 4 cars were robbed, and 2 of them were in the wrong place. But it was nearly a perfect, organized, and conducted event. And the people who came from around the world felt that they were fully rewarded for whatever cost it was. And so this could be an example of how our economy could be driven if the powers that be put the infrastructure to hold these events here. So, yes, Bantan is out.
I always remember the road I traveled. travel all over through the works of Jah. One thing I know for sure, my roots I'll never forget. I always remember the road I traveled. My roots I'll never forget. I always remember the road I traveled. Europe I travel, England I travel, America I travel. I travel. My roots I'll never forget. I always remember the road I traveled. My roots I'll never forget. I always remember the road I traveled. How can I forget my roots?
Yeah, the roots, the foundations. Buju Banton has made it clear that Jamaica, this land of slavery, is the foundation and is the root. And this is where he gets his inspiration from, and this is where the people demonstrate their true emotional responses that are what we call love for the artist, you know. So we have heroes in our spaces. There are heroes in religion, there are heroes in war, there are heroes in the movies, and there are heroes that are created in the entertainment industry. And within the entertainment industry, you know, rebel music, Rastafari music has been a cutting edge for the liberation of the conscious mind. And so those who are writing songs now realizing you don't have to be doing slackness and saying all kind of things to get attention. Say the right things and you will attract the attention of minds that are searching. And people are searching. People are asking questions. People are wondering. And much like wondering now, I'll just segue into an event that has happened a couple of days ago. An event in New Zealand. And this event has seemed to create a little shock, a shock wave that has been traveling through the global mind. Yeah, the event that has occurred in New Zealand is what they call a mass shooting. Now, we here in Jamaica, we have been hearing about these things, but we always hear about these things in Europe and in North America. Like mass shootings, you know, like a weekly thing in America. You just know, so by a couple of days gone, past the year, about 7 when dead over there, so, and then the next day, past the year, so 12 dead. It's like that becoming norm. And I have to speak to the issue of whether there are some things called new norms being established. But to the point, the event that happened in New Zealand, they call it Down Under. It almost not a part of the world the way we are being conditioned to view the world here from Jamaica and the Caribbean, North America. We see North America easily and we see Europe, and we even see South America because of sports. But Australia and New Zealand, them say it's down under our foot bottom. And that is a very long journey to get there by airlines, whole heap of hours flying and thing, all right? So it's kind of remote. So when certain events happen in these kind of places now, it causes shock, particularly to the cultures and the societies that live in those areas. So we can get up tomorrow morning. Well, a few hours ago, there was a shooting on a train in Utrecht, which is in Germany. And a man just shoot 4 people and stab somebody. So that happened. And then week before, something is going on in Lisbon. So all over the European continent and North American states, we have these outbursts consistently. In New Zealand, of all the places now, where the atmosphere is supposed to be all about unity in diversity and respect for cultures and various religious groups. Out of the white comes a man called Tarrant. And his brother here now is an Australian. And he goes into New Zealand, and he goes back and forth, and he's a regular traveler. The document shows him travel all over Europe, all over countries that people consider to be fascists and have ideologies of racism. He has been to all these places. And his brother here now go into New Zealand and line up 2 mosques. And when him done lick shot and fire gun, is 50 people dead. And another dozen near dead. And more injured. No, this is outrageous. And the thing about it, every time these things happen, and by circumstance and accident, when there's a white shooter, they never usually dead in the shootout, they usually get taken alive. Maybe it's just by accident. But after all of this, what this virgin do, he was taken in alive. And was able to be taken to court and face him jury. But what is more interesting now, I want to show the item now. The virgin write a manifesto. And it shows that the brethren has been highly trained and organized and well prepared for the massacre that him carry out. The media now try to describe him as what them call a lone wolf. Meaning say, he must get up by himself and just decide, say, something, I'm going to kill some Muslim. And he must fix up him car and them thing, he must grow out and boom. That is what the media is trying to project. But you see, when you begin to exercise your own intelligence and reading from different perspectives, you realize that this brethren is a representation of a larger force. And what is this force now? This force claims that there needs to be a race war. The force that this brethren represent suggests that Jews and Africans and people of melanin and pigmentation are aliens and foreigners, and they should leave Europe and America. Now, that sounds like it's a political issue. But I want to speak to the perspective now of the religious side. Because here we have people in a mosque. And these people in the mosque now, they are showing reverence to the God that they worship, the God that they call Allah. But within all of that, here comes a brother with a bag of guns and ammunition and just mow down innocent Muslims at worship. Now, it caused a big thing, of course, but as black people now, we have to reflect on our own story. Because we have to remember now, we have been conditioned and socialized to believe that the church and the synagogue and the mosque are holy places. That these places are the sanctions and the home where the God and his people gather. Now, this event in New Zealand shouldn't shock black people, because you see, within our own story now, we just have to reflect on our journey coming through North America. When the 6 little girls were bombed in the church in Alabama in the 1950s, or I think it was Selma, one of those places. Our little black girls were blown up. And it never became an issue. And we as black people continued to pray to the God that we were told to pray to, and that those little children were praying to. And we continue. So we see where some man rush a synagogue upstate New York and kill off some Jews. And you wonder now, how is it the Jews in their synagogue don't have any protection? And they have their God overlooking them. And then the mosque now is attacked. And the people in the mosque get killed. The island roof walks into the church and kill off the black people. I want them really ask themselves the question now, this institution that they give us called church and mosque and synagogues, and the overarching power that's supposed to be observing events in these things. How could these things take place? On what basis now can we have any rational way of recognizing that it's all right? Because how can it be okay? Who at a higher level would sanction these types of killings? So in other words, now I say to the item now, we have to question this whole supreme thing that's supposed to be overlooking everybody. Because the Muslims are not being protected, and their supreme force is Allah. And the black people long time exposed and have been brutalized. The Jews are not protected in them synagogue. So where is this protection thing that we have been looking into? So maybe it's all an illusion. That protection comes from being self-armed. That protection comes from having your own defenses and resources in place. So I said to the item now, when we look at the airplane that went down in Ethiopia, 157 people vanish at an impact. What is the nature of these people? Are these people in a situation where they have a soul that now can be rescued? Is it that those who were on the plane who were Muslims, those people were praying to Allah to protect them in the plane? The plane had 30 different nationalities. And within the nationalities, you had those who were Christians, those who were Muslims, and those who were neither. And yet, everybody went down. So where is this, and what is this thing that we think is overarching and responsible for our security and our safety? I think we have to begin to think about taking up our own self-defense. We have to begin to stop relying on this protection from above and begin to defend ourselves right here and now in the practical. Thinking through metamorphosis. So the WhatsApp is up and running. And Kevin is in Tampa, Florida. Kevin say, all black men that lock up innocently, if they don't die in prison, they return 10 times stronger. You know, this is the prison penal system in the plantation America. Unfortunately, no, it's a place where enough time is there, the black man them actually wake up to them consciousness and become aware of a whole heap of things. And I am attributing that mainly to the fact that being incarcerated means there is no real freedom of movement per se. So if you stay in one place, you end up getting involved in reading. Because even Buju Banton now has a master's degree. Yeah, if he probably was out here, he wouldn't have that time and attitude to pursue that. And it is out here for everybody to pursue. But it's when him get locked down. And for 10 years, him going to be in one place. You better do something to keep yourself sane. And part of maintaining sanity is to study. And to read. Malcolm X, many more have gone before. And they have transformed themselves because of that pressure and stress. Where now them can't go on with them have to just hold them one spot. Even things like solitary confinement is a serious condition for put a man in. So it's unfortunate that enough of we have to, as black men, have to get locked down before we start realize how to galvanize the power of the brain and the mind power. Sometimes we spend too much time out here pursuing to have money. And having the money without the mind power, you will lose the money and the system will take you away. So, yeah, those go in come out stronger. The majority get abused while they are there. And Buju Banton made it very clear during the concert that no guy within the 10 years did even come near to abuse him. In other words, him saying anus remains his. Yes, and certain things, because within that world, you know, sexism and racism and homosexuality and all those things now dominate that world, because there are no women there. And there are feelings that are sexual that run through man. These things happening where whole man gather in one place, in the military and in the prison. And in those prisons worlds now is a whole different order. And I tell you, to hold on to your philosophy and your ideology is not a simple thing in a place like that. So, within the metamorphosis now, I really want to speak to the thing that this shooter in New Zealand, what he has pointed out is that is his inspiration. He has made it clear, you know, that his inspiration to do this mass killing is determined and comes from the President of the United States. He says Trump inspire him because Trump is a new symbol of whiteness, of white identity. No, it's not Trump cause him to shoot the people, you know. But it's the ideology, you know, and ideas motivate people. And it is individuals now who promote and spread ideas and ideologies. So to try to get a better understanding of what is it that is driving these type of behaviors and the argument, I want to open a little reasoning and a discussion on certain ideas and concepts. The first one is racism. Because in Jamaica, hardly anybody grows up with any knowledge of what racism is. I know as a youth, I never know it until I got to live in North America, when white people talk about them and you people, and you have to ask the question, what do you mean by you people? Because you think all people is one people. It's when you go to those places now you start realizing, no, something is different in the perception and the behavior. So we have to begin to, it's like, slow down a little bit. Or not, John?
Live and direct. You know what live and direct mean? Mean live and direct. So here I want you all to do something for me, right? Forgive them, Jah, they know not what they're doing.
as well in the chanting in the background. So I want to say now about this idea that we have been hearing very often now in North America. We're hearing it more now since Trump has come to office. But it began to surface in the local mind, I think, more under the Obama administration. And I'm speaking about the thing called racism. As I say, as a youth, I never grew with that knowledge. I went to school, both primary and secondary, and never even did hear the word. Never heard the word racist, never heard the word racism. The word that I heard in Jamaica coming through was a term that them call class. And I knew it was somehow associated with money. Later on I learned that it was also associated with education. And then when I went to school, them put me in a class. So you cannot get the notion of groupings. And you try and move from this class to the next class. Now it's getting to a struggle to move up in class. Maybe that's part of this, the subliminal programming. We hear people talk about them trying to move up. So class is an idea that was and is dominant in Jamaica. The idea of race is global, but in a space like Jamaica, at the time I'm talking about up to those 50s and so forth, the idea of race was never really a theme of discussion about anything. It was just there, and it was just there. Then there is what they call issues of gender. And in that gender struggle, they speak about sex and sexism. So we didn't hear it in Jamaica either, because we weren't at the point wherein the women were so outspoken and demanding, etc., etc. So what we really didn't know is what we call classism. And so people considered Jamaica was a classist society. And within the context of class now, you had these various levels of the class. You had the very lowest class, and you had the upper class. But then, remember that these are imaginary structures, you know, even though kind of people fit into it. So you had a thing called a middle class. So there's an upper, a middle, and a lower. But then between the middle and the upper, you have an upper middle class. And you start to get more and more stratification. And it's on that basis now Jamaican plantation society sort of function. And people are encouraged to move up in class. And you do it by acquiring money and property, land, or you get education. So the people who are striving to be in the up class, middle class, usually are the people who are fairly educated. And they pursue jobs and they get employment and they keep the state going. Race is the driving force in a place like North America, in the United States, and in Europe. And in the societies where the European and the white man is the dominant cultural force. He uses race as the motivating and the controlling force in that society. In Jamaica, as I said, they use the concept of class. But it does not mean race does not exist in Jamaica. But it does not mean it's not focused on because of, let us say, the size of the population, for example. Population is over 90%, 95% black people. It would be unwise for a small white group try to run the country on the basis of race up front. But they can't separate it because they have an ideology now that is what is called racism. But what is this ism? So the first thing I want them to do now, is have a definition and a clarity of what the word ism mean. Because as a youth now, Rasta, we tell us boy, Rasta man, they with no form of ism and schism, Yeah, man, Rasta man, I will tell you, we don't know ism. What is a ism? What is ISM? I want them look up that. Because one of the ways to understand what racism is first of all understanding what ism mean. Ism is a suffix. We're going into the language construction now. We want to get the better way to understand what this thing means because it is causing an international movement. It has created an international movement driven by racism. And it is the black people who are the victims now and are going to be at the beating end stick of this ideology. So some clarity will help. And then we can look around and see if these things exist in our Jamaican space, or is it just an American thing, or is it only where white people are? Does racism exist in Jamaica? So we get to the point wherein ism must be defined. ISM. And we can attach ism to root words. That's why we can have race ism. And that's why we can have sexism. And we can go into other aspects of life and talk about socialism. We can talk about within economics and politics, capitalism. Within religion, we can talk about Anglicanism, Catholicism. So ism is the term. I want them just penetrate for a minute. It's 3 letters, ISM. And once we get an understanding of ism now, let us begin to see how does it apply now when we apply it to the concept of race. And there are those who are trying to insist that race don't exist. Yet racism is there. So say it's a double talk that. How can race not exist yet but there is racism? What is race? But the first thing is ism. Check it. We'll come in.
Children, Willie boy, living in a concrete situation. How Willie boy, African children are living in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children, out there is in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? The whole of the nation living in these tenements, crying and applying their counsel for assistance every day. Now that the tribulation so sad, now the environment so bad. High-rise concrete, no backyard for the children to play. African children are living in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children, oh, living in a concrete situation. African children, wonder do they know where you're coming from? All of the nation are living in this tenement. 3-car stone wall concrete, beautiful. They're renting grizzlies each and every other day. Structural repairs are assessed and yet never lift out of action on the 27th floor. And when they work this way, African children living in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children living in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children down
Yeah,
there.
they say if you don't know, well, not what they say. I'm saying that if you don't know where you're coming from, you just lost. Yeah. It doesn't matter say if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going, I don't really follow how that connect. I don't understand how those two verses connect. what connects to me is that if you don't know where you're coming from, you're lost. And not because you know where you are right now mean you're not lost, you know. You can know where you are right now and you're still lost because you don't know where you're coming from. So, it's not just enough to know where you're coming from. You have to know where you're also going. Where are you going? What does your future look like? And that defines from now. So, you cannot confuse yourself. But we're still returning now to the concept of ism. People have enough time to look it up and get a little idea of what this thing called ism is. I'm going to say that from a long time, Rastaman used to say, we're born all isms. Because isms and schisms is what create a divide amongst the people. Now we have to go to the dictionary now to find out what this ism is and realize that is a term, as I said, that's a suffix that can be added to many, many words. Alcoholism, when you're overwhelmed by an abnormal condition that you result from excess. That becomes another ism. Now, in a definition, I give you a working definition for ism. A distinctive doctrine or cause or theory. An oppressive and especially discriminatory attitude or belief. Now, ism, you know, watch it now. An oppressive and especially discriminatory attitude or belief forms the basis of an ism. Now, if you apply this definition now to race and try to get a clarity now of what really is racism, then you will see that it is an attitude that is oppressive and discriminative as it relates to race. So one group of persons have this attitude and this belief about race. And their attitude and belief is that the race that they are of is the superior race. So within racism, it's a struggle because it is one group imposing their beliefs and their doctrine on another group of people. Classism, one group of people doing the same thing, but them call themselves the same class. And within sexism, we see the same issue. So, this brethren in New Zealand declare himself to be representing a doctrine that suggests that the white Caucasian race is superior. And on that basis of superiority, his inspiration of this ideology comes out of the White House in the United States. Because racism has become the new norm in American politics and way of life. And this ism is grounded in a set of beliefs that the black people are inferior, that the black people are invaders, and that they are aliens to the United States and alien to Europe, and that they should go back where them come from. And on that basis, a man takes up a gun and goes about killing and killing. And it's not just In New Zealand, it manifests itself. It has been happening in North America. But the New Zealand case is shocking because this place is so isolated and removed from the mainstream. So when people talk about racism now, it is not just a set of beliefs only and attitudes. It's also something that is maintained through institutional frameworks. These beliefs now are manifested through institutions. And the institution that we really want to just glimpse into is religion, education, and politics. Because racism now surfaces everywhere. It surfaces everywhere within the Western plantation where there are power systems and power structures. So, classism is dominant and rampant in Jamaica. What the Jamaican people will find that as they achieve them economic and educational status and begin to rise in the class status, there's a certain ceiling. And when they reach that ceiling, them lick them head, they can't go any further because the further journey now is along the lines of race, where the real wealth is and the real money and the real owners of this plantation exist. So, black people now, we are being shocked by racism because the religious education we get tells us that God made us all and we are all created equal and this and that and that and that. But there are some shocks and the shocks are being exposed because the leadership in the White House has become the symbol, as this virgin in New Zealand say, the symbol of white identity. They're calling themselves by definition ethno-nationalists. So we better pay attention.
This is StylzFM.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let StylzFM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. StylzFM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar. For the best quality in sound reinforcement and backlining, native audio. We have professional engineers with over 20 years of experience. So call us and we'll take care of your parties, wedding receptions, barbecues, conferences, and small stage shows. Crystal clear sound, native audio. Our prices are the best. Call us at 871-5212. That's 871-5212. Native audio. We make your events audible.
Business operators, local and overseas. This announcement is for you.
StylzFM is an internationally known radio network with worldwide listeners in over 120 countries.
From our studio in Port Antonio, Jamaica, to the ears of the people in your community, our listeners can be your new customers.
StylzFM is an economical, efficient, and effective advertising option for your business.
No matter the size of your business, there's always growth potential. StylzFM provides the customer reach needed to realize that upward movement.
So procrastinate no more. Advertising is a must.
For more details on how to advertise with StylzFM, visit www.stylzfm.com or email info@stylzfm.com or call us on 876-518-2399.
StylzFM, the world listens.
Architects, draftsmen, and surveyors, get your drawings printed in high-quality professional standards. We can satisfy your printing needs. Whether it is for presentation to your clients or for submitting building and subdivision application, make it VJ Printing Services. Whether drawing by hand or with computer-aided softwares, we will plot your negatives and print the copies as you need. We do high-quality white paper printing that is water-resistant and never fades, unlike traditional blueprint. For more information, call VJ Printing at 893-2266.
Guess what? StylzFM has a new business number for you to call, text, and now WhatsApp. 518-2399. To advertise your business and events, call, text, or WhatsApp us on
518-2399. 518-2399.
Don't forget, 518-2399. Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Ideology. The word is ideology. Ideology. Look up that along with the previous term that we asked you to look up. Ideology. This is what is the driving force, behind much of the behavior that we see in the world, political and otherwise. So what is your ideology? What is your political ideology? What is your religious ideology? What is your psychological? So ideology is a term that we need to become familiar with. And as I said to them now within this dispensation, everybody have a thing in them hand, them phone or something, and them kind of type in the word and the meaning jumps up. An ideology, a system of ideas and ideals, especially ones which form the basis of your economic and political theory and policy and ideology. So if you go over the term ideology now, I would think about a racist ideology. You begin to get a clearer picture of what is happening around us. Because racism is on the rise. Obviously, you hear it in the media. But what is a racist ideology? And it is this ideology that has driven this brethren and many more like him to commit these mass killings against people of pigmentation, people of melanin. And this racism is a very serious kind of virus, It is deadly. And the thing about it now is not just a white man thing, racism. It's a set of beliefs that one race holds within its view of another. So even within the Jamaican plantation society, the Chinese don't view the black people in a great amount of respect. There is racism there. There's racism. And you see it in the behavior when you go into some of these, some of them enterprises, and you go downtown Kingston, and you see the attitude. Because they hold a belief along the lines of race that the black people generally are subhuman. That the black people generally are not civilized, not developed, are still barbaric. They hold all of these beliefs and attitudes. And so it manifests it in their behavior. So racism is not something that is normal in Jamaica to speak about and observe. It's when you drop to North America and you realize in certain places you can't go just because you're black. And then you begin to realize that being black is becoming a handicap. And you have to begin to question yourself and your own blackness. You don't do that here in Jamaica. Because you see people around you who look like you who are trying to escape that look. So, racism. And then you have the racist. The racist now is the individual within the system. And the individual now don't have to have any amount of personal power if the society and the structure gives him that edge or the privilege automatically. In other words, now in America you have a thing called white privilege. And that is inbuilt into the system. And it is driven by racism. The ism suggests that the blacks there have no moral and legal rights. Therefore, anything can be done. So it's a matter of coming to a knowledge of what these isms are, and then how do we organize ourselves and counteract these isms. So race, again, is a major force. And when Marcus Garvey tried to speak about race in Jamaica, they run him out. Because it's a very emotional and volatile sphere of our existence, you know. It's a definitive part of our being, our race. You're born into the race. You're not something you adapt. You can't adapt the race that you're into. You're born into it. So racism becomes a force now used by European people to get advantages, take advantages, and it also subject people who are not European, not American, to conditions that are not fair. So we talk about justice and injustice. And within the system where racism is dominant, there's always injustice. So you have poor, uneducated Caucasian people. So they have no financial power, no educational power, but they are racist because they see the society around them gives them the advantage. So the poorest white will still feel superior to the black man with all of his money and property. Because it's psychological now. It's psychological. It's about belief and of the knowledge of your race. So when the black people continue to hold on to the belief that they are inferior, it feeds into the ism of racism. It feeds into it. And at a more fundamental level now, when a little white child sees the image of the white Jesus, it inspires that white child and feel divine and feel secure and feel okay inside. But when the black child sees the image of the white Jesus, him don't feel any great feeling, begin to feel insecure, begins to feel inferior. So the little white you, before even getting the information, the images around him, give him the feeling of being superior. Him go to church and them say everybody looking up on the wall and them see that Jesus, and them say the Son of God, that, and he look like him. He must feel good about himself. So it don't have to be spoken. It's in the environment. And so you wonder if the children born racist, but they're in a racist society. A society that promotes racism. And they tell black people now that they must not speak about racism, otherwise they are being racist. Well, one of the essential elements that make a racist a racist is that that person is a part of the power system, part of the power structure. Because if you lack power, it's hard to demonstrate any racism. You can't demonstrate the isms of racism if you lack power. So ultimately, it is within the structure, it's within the institution. So we find it in religion. We get stories and images that project people who are evil as black. It's racism that. It is one race promoting themselves as superior and the other race as inferior. It's all over the education system. All of the heroes who discover for Europe are made heroes for black people. And the black people who fight for liberation for black people are turned into demons. So racism is real. And it's almost innate within certain environment because the children don't have to be told. The environment shows them that they're either in a superior position or they're in an inferior position. And the parents around now are critical whether they're going to feed into that or whether they're going to counteract that to allow the black child to have some sense of self-worth, or whether the child is going to lose that self-worth and begin to have an inferiority complex, and it gets more and more difficult. So racism is real. Classism is real. And in Jamaica, we have our own thing now that we call colorisms. Yes, colorisms. Another ism that comes to oppress and divide and separate. Yes, Rastaman say long time, born all isms and schisms.
If it's
Yes, we're looking at the notion of race and racism and the whole meaning of the term ism, and what happens when we apply ism to things like class or sex or race. Yeah, the isms. And it takes us to understanding what an ideology is. Because it's not much different in terms of an ism. And an ideology is not different from the ism in terms of its definition. It's a collection, a set of beliefs or principles, especially on which a political system or a political party or a political organization is based. Now, these principles, these beliefs, when the ideology is racist, the set of beliefs are racist. And racist beliefs now relate to how one group of people view the other group along the lines of race. And in North America, the racist belief is that the white race and the Caucasian people are the superior. The Europeans took it to the earlier level within Hitler declaring that the Aryan race is the master race. That's where the whole thing really coming from within the Europeans, the white people. It is Hitler who break away from the rest of the European tribes and define the German Aryans as the supreme, the master race. And eventually he was kind of subdued, but the ideology of the white European as a master race never died. That ideology was shipped right across the Atlantic into America. And the Americans hold on to the ideology of being white supremacy. This is where the whole notion of being supreme as Caucasian people come from. So racism becomes natural to those who embrace the ideology of being a supremacist. So this brethren now again, who goes into New Zealand and do him thing amongst the Muslims, slaughter them mercilessly, and claiming that it is inspiration comes from the new symbol of white identity, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the glorification of Nazism and fascism as political systems. And there's an attempt to really bring this system into what is called the now. So black people now, when we observe what are going on, we can't wait for the ABC and the NNC and them people ever tell we what we think, If we begin to do some of our own assessments, our own analysis, and realize that racism is almost inbuilt where these Europeans and Americans gather. They have their struggles of class amongst themselves now. Because white people have them class structure. If you go to a place like India, you see a whole class system that runs the whole place. It's called a caste. C-A-S-T-E. A caste system. And again, it's all about segregation and separating people and putting those who are higher and lower and separating people along the lines of economics and etc. So these are man-made institutions. So racism is something that is being practiced. It's a practice not just by white people, but wherever they are dominant, it becomes like the normal. It becomes normal. Prior to Trump in office, there was a serious rise up against Obama by the same white nationalist identity in America. The whites who felt offended that a former slave could be in the White House. Yeah, it was a total affront to the organizations in America that defend white ideology, racist ideology. How could this offspring of the descendant of a slave get into the White House? So it caused a whole heap of bellyache. And Trump represents the backlash. This is the backlash now to Obama. And so When black people thought that they were going to be celebrating a black man in the White House, a man whose hands were tied, because the racist culture of America would never allow a president to cater to black people. That don't make any sense. But the symbols were there, particularly with the wife. And now that they are both gone, it's like the clan has returned with a venom. And what was once called polite society has now become crude. And racism that was usually covered has now become exposed. And black people have suddenly have to wake up to the fantasy of living amongst white people, and everything will be just so hunky-dory because of the love. There is no love in a racist ideology for black people, and there never will. It's about black people recognizing the political, economic conditions and transform some of that energy to inward development of your own psyche. Do like what our brothers who are incarcerated have to do. Begin to study. Study science. Study philosophy. Study. Make a transform yourself. Metamorphosis.
I wanna know, are you feeling the same way too? Oh, little moment, are you? It's so nice. I wanna feel the same thing twice. It's so nice. I wanna feel the same thing twice.
Yeah, the reasoning, expanding, moving away from just simply looking at ism to how it is applied within the world of politics and economics and science. Ageism is an ism that is also destructive, and it relates, I think, more within the world of, it's easy to see in the world of sports. In a place like Jamaica, where when you get to a certain age, people think that certain things cannot be done again, and there's a set of beliefs that come together now when you reach a certain age. And in a Jamaica, no in particular, no, when an athlete or a sportsman gets into the middle 20s, yeah, people want to tell them same old, you know. Yeah, man, you're the whole guy, you know, and you first retire, and low youth to come. So, that same man in Jamaica, or that same sports person in Jamaica who we call him old, at the international level has just reached maturity. For example, a 25-year-old football player in the world just a reach man in the game, you know. Just a reach man. In Jamaica now we start call a player 25 old. And so you hard to find a 30-year-old playing football in Jamaica at any serious level. Because we have this ism now where we're fighting against age. I see it reflected also in the West Indies cricket team years ago, where the society and the system almost force certain players to retire, though they are still functioning. Because after a certain age them reach. And when they reach into other societies, those ages of players are still working and still playing. So it's the isms, we have to begin to examine all isms. Yeah, we can't just accept an ism just because it is put on us. So you're in the Roman Catholic, into the church, and them tell you about the Catholicism. Catholicism. It have its own set of beliefs and arguments to maintain and control. The Anglicans come with their ism, and you realize it's a term. It's a term that is used out of the English language, and we have to know the language and what it really means when we go into these isms. There's also the attempt now to get Rastafari to be drafted up under ism. And you hear in academic world talk about Rastafarianism. Rastaman with no ism, no ism with no organizing. Nobody come ism up Rasta. Because once you become an ism, you say you become a schism. Once there is an ism, there's a sort of oppression. And a sort of intent on control and domination. So the language is critical. And racism is what Haile Selassie spoke about in the speech about the philosophy, which holds one race superior to the other. Until that philosophy is finally and permanently discredited, there will always be war. So racism is that philosophy. And white racism is what is really the cancer throughout this planet. That wherever these people go, they establish themselves among others as being the superior people. And what's essential, is that them can't do that unless them come with them Bible and them religion. There's no way they can establish any level of superiority unless they come with it through a philosophy and an argument. Because the evidence in the world and the monuments that are remnants of Greek civilization reflect black people's culture. So you have to come with something else. Something else, and it has to be in the thought process. It has to be in the control of the thinking. So the ideology now that holds one race superior to the other has a foundation in religion. Yeah, that superiority of race is grounded in religion. And if you go into the mythologies of the religion that give us, for example, Christianity, there's a mythology about how man was created. And right away you see that all kind of isms involved. Because in the first place, there is a demonstration of sexism. Because all of the other life forms are made with males and females. Birds, plants, animals. And yet the storytellers, when it comes to man, it's just a male alone. So there's a problem already. There's a problem already. Because there's an attitude that the male now is supposed to be superior. So the schism start already now, you know. The ism start already. Sexism start. And the what you call that male attitude begins because the story tells the man that him come first. And she come after now, she's second, and second is inferior to one. And the whole ideology of domination and oppression is planted right there. And before we go any further, you realize that children are born. But one is beginning to feel discrimination because prejudice surfaces. Because when one is offered the gift to the creator of God's force, it is rejected. So you begin to see the first signs of prejudice. Yeah, man, bias. And these things lead to confrontation and conflict. And if you follow the mythology, one brother killed the other. It's isms, you know. It's isms cause them thing there. It's isms. So within the mythology, them planting these isms. And ultimately you hear about races now. And then one race of people now is chosen over the other race. Racism. I and as black people now must begin to shake off them constructions, those isms, and begin to look through it and look at the reality of our lives. Because religion hold it, the politics of it is isms, and it's just for I and I to let go some of them ism there. Let go the class ism. Yeah, let go the race ism. And they talk about political identity. Well, within black man's struggle, the objective was that part of the political identity should involve some form of black nationalism. But that again creates a problem if you begin to attach ism to national, because that is part of the problem today, where we have a set of people calling themselves ethno-nationalism. They're defending ethno-nationalism, which is another way of saying white domination. We have to be nationalists. We have to be black nationalists. We have to be careful how we identify the things that we want to operate under. And maybe that's why Garvey kind of gets stuck with this ism that they create around Garvey and Garvey isms. We should just be speaking about the philosophy of Marcus Garvey more than talk about any isms. Isms lead to schisms, metamorphosis.
Thereof now, gave man his love, and they rewarded with violence. In these last days, lend ears to what I say. Man in his ignorant state, signed and sealed is on faith. Doctrines of the falling angel, no water, quench eternal flames of hell. Hellfire, I said doctrines of the falling angel, no water to quench eternal flames of hell. Hellfire, earth crisis, earth crisis, all this suffering, earth crisis, earth crisis. Misguided people don't seem to care, carry the seed. doctrines of the fallen angels. No water, quench eternal flames of hell. Hellfire, I said doctrines of the fallen angels. No water, to quench eternal flames of hell. Hellfire, earth crisis. Earth crisis. All this suffering, earth crisis. In a earth crisis. Whoa, whoa. Superpowers have a plan. Superpowers got a plan. Undermining third world man. Undermining third world lands of minerals. Rubbing lands of minerals. Destroying, creating famine against the lands. You hear what I say? You hear what I say? Listen. Well, now earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof now. Gave man his love, and they rewarded with violence. In these last days, lend ears to what I say. Man in his ignorant state has signed the seal his own faith in this earth crisis. In a this time, yeah. Earth crisis. Crisis and crisis. Earth crisis. Your life in the hands just waiting to explode. Earth crisis. Touch of a button, fingertip control. Earth crisis. Hey, hardly surprising. Earth crisis. Jack in the rising. Earth crisis. All this suffering. Earth crisis. All this suffering. Earth crisis. All this suffering. Earth crisis. Earth crisis.
Yeah, there's a crisis, serious crisis the earth is going through. And just within the context of politics and violence now, there's an ism that is on the rise. It's called ethno-nationalism. Ethno. Ethno refers to the ethnicity of the national group, and it's all about Caucasian, white people. They feel as though they are being threatened by immigrants and foreigners who are coming to take away and destroy their lifestyle. Within the realm of politics, they call them the right-wingers, because politics them have a spectrum, and there's right-wing and left-wing and center, and left of center, right and center. So them draft it up to have them idea of where people stand politically. So we find that this rise of ethno-nationalism is manifested and reflected by the leadership in the White House in the United States. Where there's a leader in the White House who's moving more like a gangster. Where for the first time in a number of decades, the American presidency coming like it get hijacked. And it's no longer running as a political office, but running like an office that is always under investigation. So the ism that is taking over the earth quietly, and according to the findings of this brethren here now, Tarrant is his name, he said that there are hundreds of thousands of people like him planted all across the world in important places, particularly in militaries and security systems. And they have a symbol now that them show where them want to tell you that they belong to the white supremacists. That finger signal that says it's okay. You know this, you know the one, you see it, Cassidy? When them go so? Trump do it all the while. And the white boy do it and show say this is a symbol them used to tell you, say, yeah, we are of the same club, we are white supremacists. I mean everything is okay. So them have them language, them have them sign language. So black people can't just sit down and go on as though we're going to be sitting ducks, waiting for these people to rise up and do what they want to do, It's now an opportunity to group up. And what this regime in the United States is doing is forcing other groups to come together amongst themselves. See, there's no more threat from Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un now is in the ascendancy. Because he's also threatening to resume his rocket launching again. And he has re-established a sense of, not re-established, he has established a sense of power within himself and within the globe. That the Americans must now have dialogue with him. So the whole thing about this military force that is rising, it's being driven by white, what they call now, supremacists. But people respond to them differently. The Oriental people have decided to unite and close ranks. The Koreans have closed ranks. The women are closing ranks. The Muslims are closing ranks. It is going to be the black people last to realize that we have to close ranks. But close ranks around what? Because we have so many things that separate us that it's becoming difficult to find something to unite us. But you see, what will unite us without a doubt is a common enemy. And the enemy is common, just how we refuse to look at the enemy. It's the same enemy that came into the continent and brought us out by force. That same enemy has a political umbrella. And the umbrella now is called ethno-nationalism. The political ideology is to remove black people from Europe and from North America by force, if necessary. Make conditions difficult to live in those places. So why not prepare yourself to make your movements to where you think you can live a better place? Because racism now will not get less now, It's going to be intensified. And I tell you, don't be surprised if the racists give Trump another 4 years. Because the military love him. And the people who benefiting from what him doing love him. And the white people who hated Obama to the guts love Trump. Like how Jesus loved these little children that used to come unto him. And now the Pope is in trouble. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis rolling through in this period of time when we're on the still experiencing the vibrations of the Bantans concert and the fact that Jamaica has this attractive power through culture that will transform the whole condition of living if things were to be organized along the lines that people could feel that they have a chance. But the isms that on top of the people in Jamaica are great. And the isms that we find in a system like the politics is a serious force. And one of the tribes maintains a certain ideology, and the other tribe has a different ideology. But guess what? In Jamaica, both tribes have the same ideology. It's the same ideology. So the belief systems of the parties are the same. And we look at the history of the ideology of these two parties. We find that historically they are coming from the same foundation, which is the Empire and the British. They have both shared the same desire of independence. They separated in the 1970s in the harshest way, dividing the country into laborites and socialists, capitalists and socialists. And then at the opening of the globalization era in the 1990s, both of them returned to the same ideology, which is capitalism. And it's that ism now that is governing a place like Jamaica. This ism now has a set of beliefs and practices and principles that don't really work to the benefit of the black population. It doesn't. Because capitalism is like an outgrowth of slavery. It's like the next stage of, it's a transformation from slavery in terms of politics to capitalism. And in capitalism, it's a matter of who controls the wealth of the society. And if you know the story of Jamaica, the wealth of the society was always controlled by foreigners, white people, the English. So the foundation of this society and its wealth is not based upon class, but based upon race. The wealth was in the hands of one race, white people. And it is that this race now that would go out and begin to exploit other races and bring them here under the condition of servitude. And it's in this mixture now, this mixture of races and servants, that we develop this thing now that we call it in class. So the Oriental, the Chinaman came here as a servant. His was more glorified, so he was called an indentured servant. And his conditions were such that he could repatriate. Same thing for the Indians. So they have a sense of self along the lines of race. They have that sense of self. They have a sense of their own racial history. And it's maintained amongst themselves as a group. So they're not feeling inferior. They don't have inferiority feelings amongst themselves. The black African people now, brought here under a different condition, brought here as chattel. And in that chattel condition, it is a situation where the chattel is reduced. It's a human being reduced to chattel. A personality reduced to animal. So therefore, it's in a condition that is inferior. And so this superiority, inferiority thing develops along the lines of race, right here in Jamaica. It is the racial minority group that brought the majority Africans here in a slave condition. The same minority racial white group brought the Indians here and brought the Chinese here as indentured servants. They have never left. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Jewish Museum downtown Kingston, Charles Street, you'll be shocked to know the history of this country and the role that the Jews have been playing and still play in Jamaica from the 1700s. But that's not given within our school system, so we're not going to really know. So these other racial groups now in the island, the Indians and the Orientals, the Chinese, they have been able to hold them racial dignity intact. And so the Europeans, them white man, them would at a hard time imposing them racism on these groups of people because they had their own integrity intact and they had a level of autonomy and they could return to where them come from. The black people never had that option. So we were completely beaten down to the point wherein there is all about self-doubt. There is no self-confidence. That of the issues of self are defeated. Now, how do we get that transformation? How do we overpower that philosophy that is also here in Jamaica that suggests that there is a superiority of one race over the other? This ideology is difficult to shake because the church supports it. The church and its imagery supports the idea of these Europeans being superior. It is in the imagery. It's in the education system. When we look at the images and we see images of a man like the Pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And when we look at that image in the book, it's a white man. And in the real history, the pharaohs were black people. So there's a constant bombardment within institutions to suggest to black people that they are an inferior people and that those who surround them are superior. And so self-denigration, self-depreciation, all these things become part of the black man's experience. And it's all subdued under this thing called racism. It's not in the face in Jamaica, the way it's in the face in America and England. But it is here. And we can't play ignorant to it because when we try to move through the society and go to certain places, there are barriers. There are barriers that prevent people of dark and darker complexion of entering. Still barriers are here. And there are barriers here for men who have locks and a different level of separation and segregation. So racism is in Jamaica. It has always been. From the days of the Spanish, to the British, to the Americans, to where we are today. Racism is here. Classism is what we are fiddling around with. And people are trying to pretend that they are in a better class. And when you look at it, the same people say them in the better class, them in the same race with you. So we need some clarity in our consciousness here on this island. Because racism is real. You go to the hotel industry, you see it in Jamaica. You get that experience right here on the island, in these isolated places that are separated for foreigners. When you go there as a black youth, you feel and understand. You get a glimpse of what it is to be driving a car in America and to be stopped by a cop and you don't sure whether you're going to live it out or not. Because he is a part of the structure and the power that proposes that racism is normal. And we have to keep fighting. And the fight that we will fight is not a fight against the white man. It's a fight to upgrade our own dignity, that we become more respectful of ourselves. And once we begin to have that respect for ourselves, then we begin to chip away at that inferiority feeling. So the work must be done on ourselves. It's not the white man. He's okay. He's in space.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let StylzFM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. StylzFM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
It's Wow Factor Tuesdays with Chungy and Shelly. Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's entertainment and interaction at its best. With features like the Share to Care segment, the Uprising 10 Countdown, and the ever-controversial Love Break. Yes, it's the Wow Factor. Your Tuesday mornings will never be the same again.
Remember StylzFM on social media. View us on YouTube, StylzFM Radio. Follow us on Instagram at StylzFM. Like us on Twitter at StylzFM961. Become a fan on Facebook. StylzFM 96.1.
This feeling is taking over me. I'm so excited.
Feel the euphoria.
Tuesdays from 5 to 9 p.m. with the Master Mixer Musical Maestro Digital Team.
Giving a total satisfaction with melodies and memories by the score. With the widest selection of genres and hits. So you don't know that program you turn up, you know. So you know Patek's a full dance, the one you slap with.
Digital and we are party. Yeah, we flawless. Euphoria the program. Every Tuesday.
5 to 9. Every Tuesday.
With the Musical Maestro Digital Team.
For complete auto repairs and services, come to Akon Auto Technology, located at 33 Bumble Crescent, Port Antonio, Jamaica. We offer specialist services in wheel alignment and wheel balancing, brake drum and disc rotary servicing, state-of-the-art ultrasonic cleaning and testing of your fuel injectors. We also stock an assorted range of auto service parts, tires, and motorcraft batteries. If we don't have it, we will source it for you. Call us at 876-715-5205 or email AkonAutoTech16@gmail.com. Akon Auto Technology, beyond the typical auto mechanic shop.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Realize that so much when I
walking on a tightrope. Can't afford to bump my toe. No, as long as Babylon is my foe, I will have hope in my soul. Like a drowning man that clutches his straw. Might think he's got no chance, no. But will our Jack can pull him through? He's a helping hand. You got that, got me walking on a tightrope. Can't afford to bump my toe. No, as long as Babylon is my foe, I will have hope in my soul. From the valley of dry bones, I have risen. Gotta make a change. And my head in the clouds, conviction ain't no stopping now. Deliver me, oh my fathers. Hey, walking on a tightrope. Can't afford no
Yeah, the sounds of the man them coming out of the UK. Reggae music, carrying the message. Chanting down all isms and schisms. In this dispensation now, it's almost as if it's normal to say that hate is on the rise. Yeah man, hatred is on the rise. And there are groups of people who are trying to normalize hatred. And it falls under the umbrella of what they call white supremacist ideology. The ism that suggests that one group of people are superior by nature. And if you want to really go by nature now, the thing is going to end up in the reverse. Because the Caucasian certainly is not superior by nature. Because otherwise he will be able to survive under the sun. And the sun is the essence of nature. The sun is the creator and the sustainer of life. Sun is one of the forces of nature, fire, along with water and air, part of the natural trinity. So if you are a superior being, you should not have difficulty enduring the forces of nature that are natural. So there are so many other ways we can dismiss that ideology, but in the practicality of it now, if you have the power, that's when you have the talk. And the Europeans and Americans have secured themselves with power. Power in every form. The same way Garvey tells us to get power in every form. And we as a people, black people, have been stuck on that type of power that don't transform nothing in the practical world. We have all been searching for a spiritual power and investing a lot of our time and resources in this thing called spiritual power. And becoming prayer warriors. And everything is all into this abstract spiritual prayer world. And in the practical world, where there's need for shelter and money and economics and military, we are lacking. We're lacking in the areas of power that Garvey suggested. Commerce, military, science. These are the areas where black people need to focus to have power. But instead we're into the sky. We want to be highly spiritual. And the higher the spirituality is coming, like the less resources we have in the practical world. And so we fade away in debt and leave children to struggle without resources, and they must find their own way. We have to change the methodology and realize that in this time, in this 20th, 21st century, when people are fearful of the world ending, black people better be careful that in this ending, we don't end up being the losers. Because an empire is falling. Something is ending. It's not the planet Earth, you know. The planet Earth never ends. The sun, which is the ultimate source of life here, has an infinite amount of energy. So there's no ending. from that point of view. What we have is systems coming to a close. What we want to do is bring down a close to this white racism. This ism that has been operating on the planet from the time of the Romans. Yeah, this ism that they bring into Africa, bring it into ancient Egypt. This ism that speaks about superiority and inferiority and brings it into the religion and proposes that the male is now superior and the female is inferior and disturb the whole family structure. So we are faced what we call out the isms. If we call out the isms, that we can see it in its practice. And to those who think it's a great idea to be practicing any of these isms, there's a chance to think about it. Because even amongst our own relations, there is a kind of isms, individual beliefs about themselves, and that ultimately them feel that them are so superior to the man them around them or them woman, and there's this constant struggle to define who is superior. But hate is what is rising, and the hate is driven by white racism. And the brethren who went into New Zealand to demonstrate it to the world, and they know so they're not going to shoot him. He has a manifesto over 70 pages. So this is not a little lone wolf who sit down and write 70 pages. This is somebody who's a part of an organization. But because the media don't want us to know that it is more widespread, them try to isolate him. And when them isolate the one man, them always have a mental issue. That's always the diagnosis. Oh yes, he's mental. Well, the whole race of black people are mental because we're under oppression for hundreds of years. And we don't behave like that. Yet, when we decide to get violent, we direct it to each other. Why we can't direct it to the enemy? You know why? Because we are afraid of the enemy. Because the enemy looks like our savior. What a thing.
No way, ancient prophets black and bold, like Daniel, King David, and Abraham. Israel were all black men. I don't wanna lose ya. Japheth tried his best to erase the godly parts we played. I says he came and took, I never mentioned in his book, no. Version, I know King James Version. Cause out of Africa came the garden of Eden. This year version, I know King James Version. Cause out of Africa came the garden of Eden. In Esau's chapter of history, so little mentioned of you and me. For centuries, I don't wanna lose you. Phoenicians, Egyptians, and the Moors built civilization, that's for sure. Creators of the alphabet, while the West illiterate, yeah. And this your version, I know King James Version. This your version, cause out of Africa came the garden of Eden. Version, I know King
The King James Version has been a significant text drops on the heads of the black people in this Western world. KJV version, people like to run to it to draw a sort of reference to justify whatever it is they want to say or do. But you know, within that book, we find that there a whole of isms get exposed in that book. Despotism. There's another form of ism, you know. When we look into the, what we're going to call the education system, you find that there are some ways in which we are informed that doesn't really lead to any great amount of consciousness awakening, because a lot of the ideas that they give us now within the education system feeds into this ism system of racism. So you're educated to feel that you're not of any great amount of value. So you're given a misinformation about your own story. So when we want to talk about the reality of black people tradition into this Western Caribbean region, we have to make reference to Columbus. We can't make reference to Ivan van Sertima, who will take us 15,000 years before Columbus, because that set of information is going to destroy the ism that is being created in the education system, the ism that inferiority of the black race is what is normal. And so therefore the white people now, the other races must constantly feel this sense of superiority. It's racism. So in a Jamaica now, when you leave Jamaica and you go to America, it hits you in the face. Because while you're here, we integrate with all different groups, and we even grow with different groups without even being conscious that it's of a different race, because of everybody growing up in Jamaica thinking that all is one. But when we step into the North American climate and go into Europe, we realize that it's not the same. That there are some distinctions in the thoughts and the patterns of the people thinking and their behavior. So within this time here now, we are faced with a war, and the war is a war of hatred against black people. And we can't win this war by trying to love. Martin Luther King tried it already, and he paid the price. And returning hatred is not the answer either. So what is the answer? The answer is a turning internally to regenerate within inside our own selves, something called self-esteem. And there's no self-esteem until we become aware of our own history and our heritage. The solution doesn't rest amongst the white people. It doesn't rest amongst any other racial group. It rests amongst our own selves. And it comes to the awareness that as much as hate is on the rise against I and I, we can't begin to continue to hate ourselves. It just adds to the problem. And we can't turn around and love ourselves so. That's the other extreme. So I'm not going to promote no self-love talk, you know, thinking that that's going to counteract self-hate. That's just taking it from one extreme to the other. What we really need is a balance between this love and hate. And that's what we call, that's what I call care, and that's what I call respect. So we don't need no self-love to counteract self-hatred. That's a seesaw argument. That's like hot and cold, extreme to extreme. And I have to find a balance. And the balance is finding self-respect and to find care. Once we resurrect care, you know, and self-respect, we're on the road. We're on the road to recovery. Because the isms of the race, the superior dominant race, keeps us thinking that we are inferior. The only way around that is to upgrade our perception of ourselves. Yeah, it will never come from the white man. He will never tell you, all the while we spend our time trying to tell him that we and him is equal. I see that behavior amongst us all the while. Every time white people come around I, you see a lot of people trying to show them that they are equal to them, which means they're starting off from a position of being inferior. So we have to change our gear there. You have to change our gear there and remove that veil of feeling inferior and realize that the skin of the white man, that's not being superior. He's superior because he have a position in the world in military and economics. That gives him the strength of his position, but he's not a superior being. And the image of the superior being that they give us, I know it look like him because one of the theme family painted. Michelangelo painted the family of the supreme being. So the family of the Holy Ghost and the mother is white-looking people. If you grow your child on that, your child will grow up inferior to white people without you telling them. Because if the Almighty God sends a son who looks like the European and the American, why should my black child feel that he is equal to the white child? It's built in. Isms, racism, inbuilt in the institution, religion, politics, education, sports, you name it, it's built in. And the cure will come from self-revelations, self-awareness, self-cure, self-reliance, metamorphosis.
Waiting to pull trigger. I'm so eager with my itchy finger. I just can't wait. I just can't wait. I can't wait to chase Babylon, the bandits, dashing in a bottomless pit. Yeah. Babylon, dashing way in the pit now. Coming from a den of scavengers. The
and God and after the seed of scornful. Now stand the ways of sinners.
Oh, religion.
Why is the light in the laugh land? And the laugh land doesn't meditate day and night. I do remember that God they are not so.
Yeah, the religion world now is there's all kind of whole heap of isms and schisms within the world of religion. Because you know the island like Jamaica now, all the thing evolved. The Catholic Spanish people come here first with them Catholicism, you know. Yes, Catholicism. Them come with that and drop it on the island. And then the British come with for them Anglicanism. So them two isms you know is around the island, you know, religiously, Anglicanism and Catholicism. And both of them coming from the same foundation, one they just a break off. Because of personal differences in the leadership and political ideology that the Anglicans became the Anglicans and the Catholics remain the Catholics. But them have them isms, them have them set of beliefs and them principles. And the both of those principles and set of beliefs were dropped on the black people's head. So the black people, some became Christians, some became Catholics, and some became Anglicans. And in that separation, some of them feel, for them own was even better than the other one. In other words, that sort of contestation, where one group now begins to claim that they are actually more righteous and closer to God. But the ism would intensify because the Protestants would emerge. They too are also rebelling against something. And then the Methodists and the Seventh Day and the Pentecostal, and you have a whole slew of small isms who claim that they have the truth. And every other group is far away. So that makes space now for some little pseudo leaders, some little false leaders now to appear in the disguise as preachers. And they too maintain and support the isms. And these isms keep separating the people, making one group feel superior to the other group. Because that's what it's all about, the superiority feelings. One group think that them closer to Jesus than the other group. And the other group thinks that them know God more. And them better at interpreting God's word. And there's a whole heap of struggle amongst one set of people. All because of these isms. So it's clarity we need, because we don't need so much division amongst ourselves. The politicians already break it down to two groups. We don't need another splintering of 50 to 40 groups, because we know that in Jamaica, Jamaica have the most churches per square mile in the world. So we see the effect of these isms, or they divide the people. And we see the effect of not just isms in religion, we see it in the politics. And we see the big one that is called racism. That is the ism now that is threatening the world because of these people who feel that people of melanin and pigmentation should not have any say in the world except being labor forces. So this youth here now who went to New Zealand, Tarrant, him is associated now with the right-wing, alternative right-wing groups in America. It's the same right-wing that is in the government in a place like Israel. And whereas do you want to see a greater struggle than the Israelis and the Palestinians? And these two groups are drawing in reference now to the same King James Version of the Bible, where the schism between these two groups is said to be planted from the days of the Bible stories. So one group sees itself as almost a representation of the Almighty. In other words, the God of Israel is who they make reference to. But the Palestinians obviously don't have the God of Israel. They have the God of Palestine. So early, we say, again, the God issue becomes problematic. Because the Palestinians certainly do not call upon the God of Israel, and vice versa. So these are man-made constructions to divide and to conquer. We as black people must begin to examine every ism that we are involved in. and see how does it benefit individually you and I as a group of people. So the Palestinians and the Jews are at each other's neck, claiming that biblically they have some justification. And the Jews are claiming the Bible. They are using scripture to defend territory, to take away people's land, because of the ism that lets them think that their ism is superior to the beliefs and the isms of the Palestinians. There's a whole heap of things we have to unlearn. And I just suggested within this metamorphosis that we look into the terms. Classism and racism, sexism, ageism, alcoholism, all of these various terms, come to some grips as to what ism is all about. And look around us now if racism is functioning. Are you practicing racism? And can a poor man practice racism when the society doesn't support him as a whole? In other words, no, I don't think it's easy to tell black people in America that they are being racist. The black people in America are responding to racism. And so the white people call it reverse racism. It's psychology that. If you're in the power, you can afford to practice racism because the system supports and protects you. The system doesn't protect black people. So it's difficult for black people to be practicing racism, either in America nor in Jamaica. Metamorphosis.
Make you want to move your dancing feet to the rescue. Here I am. Want you to know you're where I
stand. Now the leader of the free world and the greatest democracy, biggest free world democracy, America. For the last 2 years, he has been defined clearly as racist, as sexist, as misogynistic. In other words, no, the expression of this ethno-nationalist that is in the White House is fueling these groups right across the planet. It has given them motivation to practice what they believe. To believe the belief that the Caucasian people are divine, and the belief that people of African orientation and black pigmentation are made without souls. Them have a whole set of doctrines that them write up, and they believe it, and in that belief they act it out. So we have to watch these kind of people very carefully, and more importantly, we have to begin to watch yourself. We have to watch yourself. I am glad I'm not really having to live in a place like America now, because you living in a place like America, you go to the street as a black man, you don't sure you're going to go back home. You're not sure you're going to go back home. You just book up on the police and them tell you run, and you run, them shoot you. If you stand up, them shoot you. If you lie down, them shoot you. So the condition is not really up to scratch. Yeah, because racism manifesting itself even more so now in the force. The Ku Klux Klan went underground, as an active organization, but they have been given a license now by Trump. And as this document, as this manifesto that the brother writes say, these people are all over the world, especially in the military and service areas. So black people better take careful. We hear about black women now just disappearing off of the streets of America. Truck drive up and them was gone. And there's no accountability. We have to begin to take our own lives in our own hands and leave that thing above alone. There's nothing above to guide us. There's nothing above to protect us. They went into the church in Alabama and them shoot up our little black children, bomb them up. The island roof come and do the same thing. There is nothing in the sky to protect black people. We have to draw arms and defend ourselves. We have to close ranks. The same way the North and South Koreans close ranks. Black people have to close ranks. Yeah, forget about this idea of being brown. It don't work outside of Jamaica. And the globe is facing a serious crisis. This ethno-nationalist identity is a serious thing. And it has strong representation in one of the highest offices in the Western world, the United States presidency. So we better be alert. You'll up Tris, and you'll put all the ones and ones in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, tri-state area. You'll up to all the ones that are in Florida, in California, in the states that I can't even remember them name, but I know that you're under the USA umbrella. You'll up to the North American neighbors further down into the north, Toronto, Canada, Juicy Max, Kasha Black. Yeah, well, you have the ones and ones on that side. I'm going to give you a phone number sometime shortly for the people who live in the New York, New Jersey area, where you can call this number and you can arrange to pick up one of the publications of Black Tridentity. Yes, it's going to be on that side very shortly. So I'll soon give you the links and you make a call, you make an arrangement, and the book shall be in your hands. Just like that. So, we'll go through Metamorphosis.
Now, make you wanna move your dancing feet, yeah. But to the rescue, here I am. Want you to know, want you to know just where I stand. When the morning gather the rainbow, yeah. Want you to know I'm a rainbow too. Go to the rescue. Here I am. Want you to know just if you can.
You have to understand the power of racism, in a society like the United States. There's a scandal now, as usual, breaking out about very rich people who paid all kind of millions of dollars to get them children into some high-name universities and to get some degrees. Some of them going there as under the umbrella of being sports persons. Whole heap of things unraveling now, where the very rich and famous children get into these big-name universities through bribery and scammery. And at the same time, there's a woman, a mother, who is being sent to jail. And you know why? She used the address of a relative to get her child into a better school. But here's the difference now with she and all the other people now. All the other people them white. You see it? And here's a black woman, a black mother, in chains and handcuffed in the court system. And the system sent her to jail because she used the address of a relative, to get our child into a better school. So when we talk about racism and a racist society, there is no justice for the people who are black because the injustice is inbuilt. It's the same effect that people can see happening into the entertainment industry, where the black men who have risen to power are now being brought down by the same society. When other men who do the same thing, but because they are white, these men are sheltered. It's the most obvious thing happening now, that whole revelation that white people are privileged because of the racism that builds the society. It is this hard awakening for black people to realize that it is not fair. And it hurt black people to say not fair because they were under the belief all the while that everything is fair because all men are born equal. All men are not born equal. All men are not born equal. That's an illusion. People are born in different status and different positions. Some people are born in wealth, and some people are born in poverty. Some people are born malfunctioning brain, what you call retarded. But there's a system that they are born into, an overall social system that has a court system, an education system, a religious system. And when these systems combine to collectively keep a group oppressed, then we know that the system is inbuilt with racism. And it's that black people in America now is being rudely awakened to. Not even America so much, but in England, where the disguise is harder because of this class thing and language that gives the impression that everything is equal when the racism is even greater in a place like England. And when the black people come out to Jamaica, they be more disturbed because of the discrepancy and the racism that they experience in England versus the racism that black people experience in America. It's something, because in Jamaica, I didn't know, I was like a black youth. I didn't know I belonged to a race and the other man belonged to another race and this one race think it was better than the other. I never know that. But the globe of the perspective and the Europeans and Americans are insisting that they are the supreme race. Hitler said it and them fight him down. The same European them kill him for that, But when it come to black people, all the white people, them close ranks. And they close around the political ideology of whiteness. Because these people are not white in the physiological makeup. They are Caucasians. But whiteness becomes a political ideology that promotes the racism. And is that what we have to say before we can tackle it? And before we even try to tackle that, we have to tackle the deficiencies in our own understanding. We have to get the clarity in our own consciousness. We have to connect the I, the me, and the self, and to work as a unity within the Trinity. Metamorphosis.
Why my people suffer so bad? Or is it that should really be sad? Is it a misplaced melancholy? Well, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My people, me
Portland people.
Politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My God. Rise up, fallen sufferers. Rise and take your stance again. He who fights and run away will live to fight another day. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? You people me attack. It's politics time again now. Are you gonna vote now? Deal with love.
Well, Eastern Portland is the hot spot. It's the epicenter now of Jamaican political activity. A couple of days ago, the entire political directorate descended on Portland East and block up the town and stop all business from functioning because it was politics time. And in this moment, it is important that the people not just jump on the bandwagon and drink the drinks and eat up the food, but the people pause in them quiet moment and think. Yeah, thinking is required now because decisions have to be made. And we see where the two tribes are posturing at the leadership level, but the people in Portland, them have a vibration that goes beyond what the politicians expect. Because remember now, this is the only constituency in the island, from my perspective, that don't really fester with gunmen and bad man. Hope we're not talking it out too quickly, you know. There was a situation where the MP lost his life. And so all sort of things arose, security, and the question was why the MP didn't have no security. But they say in Eastern Portland, historically, no MP never have no bad man around them, you know. Because East Portland don't have that element. No guns in the hills. It's not a place like other constituencies where bad man and gunman go hide. So the people them are relatively calm in them living, and they're accustomed to that. So the politician from that region never have to surround himself by nobody for protect him. Because he was never under threat. The region is not a threatening region. And it may be the only one in Jamaica like that. That would be, I would say that and take a chance and gamble on that. That parish, Portland, Eastern Portland, is the only constituency in Jamaica that never have no bad man politician. And so the way there's no bad man politician, there's no need for no gunmen. So this should be the model now perhaps for the rest of Jamaica, where we get rid of the gunman them and the politician them who carry gunmen around with them. Because the gunmen don't work by themselves. So there are things that we can learn, you know, from what's happening in East Portland. We also realize from my perspective that East Portland really don't have no arena for to play sports, you know. And tragically, East Portland don't even have a supply of water. So, them for build a dam. One of them two groups who rivaling for East Portland must tell the people them how they're going to build a dam. Yeah, how they're going to build a dam, how they're going to finance it, that the people in East Portland can always have water. So you have to begin to put some things together now that is tangible. You want a dam in East Portland, we want a proper stadium. We're not talking about Carter Park, you know, we want a proper stadium. Somewhere up in the between Hector's River and Ferry Hill. We need a stadium, 15,000 stadium, to motivate the youth in those areas to participate in sports. Who want to fight over Carter Park, find a company and a group and just divest that. But for the upgrading of the region, it needs a stadium in the Portland Hills. Because culture and entertainment should be an important part of the development of Eastern Portland. And I'm going to make one more thing I'm going to throw out. You say agriculture? You keep hearing that agriculture is the key. But agriculture by itself in Jamaica now, it's not like the 1950s, you know, where you just export agricultural products. The world has transformed itself where you have to have linkages. So you see, the link between agriculture and industry is what will bring the hemp industry into being. May I propose that East Portland be the primary pilot spot for our hemp industry. We can develop hemp in East Portland. Let us have some hemp factories in East Portland to give youth in East Portland employment. Yeah, hemp in East Portland. May I throw that out? And who have ears and eyes can see and hear, and who have feet can run. So it's agriculture, it's not banana. And it's not sugar cane. We don't do them thing there. It's hemp. It's not grown anywhere else in the island. So we can have the first hemp factory or two right in East Portland. And encourage now the people with money to invest in these type of factories. Banana and sugar cane, outdated. Hemp for East Portland. East Portland want a dam. So may I make them two things they're thrown out since it's politics time and you want the people to vote. The people now must tell you what they want. And I said to them, the people them say, they want a dam. And they want some factories that will produce hemp and begin to create cloth and paper and get Portland up and running.
What's selling now? What a beautiful goal from Pele. El Rey. The way that Maradona has time. Tyson Gay right alongside Usain Bolt, but here he goes, streaking away already. It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round at Gay. Watch the clock. It's goal for Bolt, and again.
Fast, Meta Sports. Fast. Usain Bolt done the right thing. In Germany, you see they have made a scooter. A scooter that is called the Bolt, to allow people to go through the city quickly. No, this is how the man must move. And so we say, go on, Dr. Bolt. So we want you put yourself out there. Good thing you come off of the football field. Save yourself out of that drama. At the level of football, regular girls, we know they are into France, and that will be in just another couple of months. The coach is having a problem because it looks like we have to drop some of the girls them who helped bring the team to the World Cup, and that's going to be another tragedy. The same problem Simaway's run up into, and he decided to go for more English players and deny the local players an opportunity to improve and experience. Regular girls may be going through the same thing. Only time will tell. The Premier League in Jamaica, it has now come to a close, literally, with one round of matches to play. And what is significantly happened within that is that Western Jamaica, that big region that produces so much football, has lost both teams out of the Premier League. Both Montego Bay United and Reno have been relegated. What does that say for Jamaica and its football when Western Jamaica, the second city, and that for a moment and time, the dominant region in football, is no longer represented at the national level? Serious issues, not just at club level, but at school level within that region. So, we're in this. Time is out. Time is out because it's Metamorphosis for this edition. Look like it's done. A true Cassidy. Aye, people, more to come. So stay with the Metamorphosis. You know, Iman Blak will be here again, and within the next 2 weeks. We have 2 more weeks in this month, in this program before the elections in April 4th. And in today's recording, one party didn't show up to sign the code of conduct. We don't know what that means. If it's a bully game or a bluff game, we don't know what it is, but we want the people to hold calm and know, say, it's full of life, we not defend more than anything else. Yeah, I hate that. Metamorphosis. I forgot, the time done.
I know enough of them woulda want we gone. I know them woulda want me gone. Sit down every day and I wish we all too much time on the hands, you know. But why would a king ever fear a boss? A king would never fear them. So what them a go do when them hear this war? Bang bang.
Yes, no take tellings, warming up is this. Man, we see your farm and gone in and you let this. People mean your harm, you can't tell what a friend is. You for your papers, gone, you for your pennies. When you no see me gone, forget replenish. Back up in the morning, can't forget the message, no. Avocado, she feel for me, Senny. Yeah, man, banana is sweet, to she belly. Jeez, I want make life sweet, so like a jelly. Climb feet, it hard, can't easy, so forget it. Sang the pan the radio, video pan it telly. Loving on me heart, me a spread the catchy medi.
People, oh, people, expectation. Will they love you? No guarantee. Yo, okay, yo. When you're living a life, when you get to bed, when you're living a life, when you get to bed. Well, me no know how me survive the hardship in you. Life never sweet like a chocolate vanilla. Train line me born, me no born in a villa. Little monkey, watch how you a talk to gorilla car. Che government by arms, get the killer. 2 party a flex like a party. Them in accepting presents from foreign government. We still a fool them and a school them and cocky them in. Good God of